This is a winning hand in Mahjong, and by the end of this video, you're gonna know how to make one too. Let's get started. No matter where you're from, you've likely seen or heard the click-clacketing tiles of Mahjong. Mahjong is a 4-person hand-building game, and since its inception in 19th century China, it's now played all over the world with different playing styles across different countries. Today, we're gonna learn about Hong Kong-style Mahjong, or Mahjong, as we say in Cantonese, the most pervasive style of them all. Specifically, we're going to be learning its base game, also known as the chicken hand or gai wu. Don't worry if you don't read any Asian languages. There are many accessible Mahjong sets out there, with corresponding numbers and letters that denote what the tile is. This video will show you how to build your hand, how to start a game, and what to do on your turn. But first, I'm going to introduce you to the tiles and suits of the game. Here we go. On the first row, we have our flowers. We're going to talk about them later. On the second row, we have our manzi, also known as characters. On the third row, we have our sokji, also known as bamboo. Please note that the one of bamboo looks like a bird. A lot of people confuse it for a flower. On the fourth row, we have our tongji, also known as dots or circles. These are the 3 main suits in Mahjong. All 3 of these suits have tiles from 1 to 9. The last 2 rows are made of honor tiles, starting with the dragon tiles. We have our green dragons, or fa choi, on the left, our red dragons, or hongzhong, on the right, and our white dragons, or bak ban, in the center. On the last row, we have our winds. In the east, we start with the east. We go from east, south, west, then north. Each tile has 4 iterations of itself, as shown by the honor tiles on the last 2 rows. Except the flowers. We have 2 quartets of flowers, numbered 1 to 4. Great. Those tiles are nice and all, but what do you actually do with them? Well, in Hong Kong-style Mahjong, you win by creating a 14-tile hand. The 14 tiles usually consist of 4 triplets and a pair. The pair is commonly known as your eyes. Let's talk about the triplets. There are 2 types of triplets that you can make. First are the identical triplets. They are exactly how they sound. You make it using 3 of the same tiles. The second type are consecutive triplets, or ascensions. These are made from 3 numerically consecutive tiles, such as 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, etc. Both types of triplets can be made with any of bamboo, circles, or characters, as long as all 3 tiles in the triplet are of the same suit. But what about the honor tiles? The honor tiles do not have a range to them. They are not ordered from 1 to 9, so you can't make ascensions out of them. You can only make identical triplets. This is true for both the dragon tiles and the winds. As for the flowers, you can't make triplets out of them at all. They have a very different function in the game's mechanics, which we'll get to right now. So, you're familiar with the tiles, and now you know what a winning hand looks like. So how do you get from your opening hand to this? 2, 1. Oh my. Let's put ourselves in a game situation. Let's pretend that this is your current hand. On your turn, you can do one of 6 actions to develop it. The first one is drawing. In front of you, there should be walls of tiles for you to draw from. On your turn, you should take the next tile in the walls and decide if you want to keep this tile. In this case, our draw fits perfectly between our 3 and 5 of bamboo, so we should keep it. Every time you put a tile into your hand, you then have to take a tile out into the discard pile. You should always make sure that you have 13 tiles whilst you're playing. You should only have 14 tiles when you win the game. This manzi is the only one you have, so it's a good option to discard. Discarding ends your turn. Immediately after you discard, anyone can actually take your discard for themselves. For example, if someone were to discard the 1 of bamboo, and you already have a pair in your hand, you can actually take that discard and use it for your own identical triplet. This is called a pong. When you pong, you have to reveal the triplet to prove to everyone that you can take it. That triplet is now set and can't be changed. Once again, now that you've added a tile, you have to take one out. Let's throw this away. There's another way that you can take others' discards. For example, if the player to your left discards this 2 of circles, it completes your consecutive triplet of 2, 3, 4. This is called a seung. However, you can only seung from the player on your left, and not anyone else. Once again, much like a pong, you have to show the completed triplet when you seung. In the event that multiple players want the same tile, the pong takes precedence over seung, unless it is the winning tile. So, we've taken a tile, we have to toss one out now. Let's play this out a bit more. Let's pretend it's your turn again, and you have to draw another tile. Nice one! You've drawn a bakban to complete your own identical triplet. But you don't have to show this out because you drew it yourself. You only need to display if you take someone else's discard. Speaking of discard, alright, our hand is in decent shape. But what if someone discarded the 4th white dragon? You can take this to complete your quadruplet. This is called a gong. A gong basically acts like a pong, except it allows you to draw a tile from the end of the walls. This can be advantageous as it acts like an extra draw. Remember, you can only pong, seung, or gong a tile immediately after it's been discarded. Doing so may cause some players to be skipped, as it becomes your turn, but you are not to draw again. You may only discard. Your hand now is ready to win, as you've already made 4 triplets. You're just waiting to complete your eyes. In this case, another 9 of bamboo. Let's play this out some more. It's your turn again, and you've drawn a flower. Every time you draw a flower, you should display it, and it also allows you to draw a tile from the back. Wow, you just self-drew the winning tile. Congratulations! If someone else threw out the winning tile, you would also win that way. You've now learned all 6 ways that you can change your hand. You can draw, pong, seung, gong, replace with a flower, or win. Whew, that was a lot. Great job so far. Now there's only one thing left to learn. Let's end with the beginning. Before the game, you should shuffle the tiles, and then each player should build a 2 by 18 tile wall, set up in this diamond formation. Pick someone to be the dealer. They will roll the dice. The sum of the dice will tell you which wall to start taking tiles from. In our example, the sum is 9. In an anti-clockwise direction, the dealer counts to 9, starting with their self. You'll find that 9 lands at the dealer's own wall, and so does 5, 13, and 17. In the opposite direction, using the same sum, the dealer counts to that tile on the determined wall, and takes the next 4 tiles. The direction and order of play can be quite confusing for beginners. There's 2 things to always keep in mind. You draw tiles from the walls in a clockwise direction, but the order of play from one player to another goes anti-clockwise. With that in mind, players take 4 tiles at a time until they have 12. When the dealer reaches 12, from the top tier of the wall, they should take 1 tile, skip 1, and then take a second. Everyone else should just take 1 tile in between. Don't forget to pick up your dice. This is your opening hand. If you see any flowers, you should display them immediately and replace them with tiles from the end of the walls. The dealer should replace first, followed by everyone else in their play order. Let's organize this quickly. You'll notice that the dealer starts with 1 more tile than everyone else. They kick off the game by discarding. If no one takes it, the turn then goes to the player on the right, following the play order. They draw the first tile, and the game begins. It'll take some time and practice to get used to the tiles and mechanics of the game, but it's totally worth it. Mahjong is super fun. It's a relatively quick game, it can help with memory, cognition, and is even rumored to reduce the risk of dementia. It's also a social game that allows you to bond with your friends and family. It doesn't, however, need to be a gambling game, and I personally do not play with money nor encourage it. So where can you play? Or get the equipment to play? I got my first set off Etsy, but there are also many on Amazon and other websites, with whichever color or size you prefer. I'll provide the links below. I'll also provide links for Mahjong mats and tables that you can buy, or just use any large square table at home. If you need people to play with, search online for Mahjong groups in your area. If you're like me and live in New York City, the Green Tile Social Club hosts events all the time. Go check them out. There are also many apps and websites that you can play on. I'll link them below. As for this channel, the next video will be on the more advanced Hong Kong style game. I'll also upload videos of strategy and gameplay, as well as shorts of Mahjong concepts and puzzles for you to solve. So like and subscribe to keep up